Welcome. Today, we're diving into a really profound segment of Surah Al-Baqarah. What's so remarkable about these verses is how they move so smoothly between laying down detailed laws for society and then telling these powerful stories from history. It shows us that faith isn't just one thing. It's lived out in our homes and in the great struggles we face as a community. So, here's how we're going to walk through this. First, we'll get the context of this divine guidance. Then, we'll get into the specifics of marriage and divorce laws. After that, we'll witness a nation's call for a leader and the test of faith that followed. And finally, we'll bring it all home and see what lessons we can draw.
All right, so you have to remember, Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed in Medina. This was when the first Muslim community was just getting established. So these verses are, in essence, a comprehensive blueprint for building a just and righteous society. They cover everything, from the most personal things in family life to the big, collective challenges a community has to deal with.
Now we start with a topic that is absolutely crucial for a healthy society, the laws around marriage and divorce. And what you'll see here is a framework that's built on these incredible pillars of justice, deep compassion, and really clear responsibilities for both men and women. It's all about ensuring fairness and dignity, even when a relationship is coming to an end.
The guidance kicks off with a very specific situation called Ayah. This is when a husband makes an oath to stay away from his wife. Now, the law here isn't meant to be a punishment. It's designed to bring clarity and resolution. It sets a very clear timeline, a 4-month waiting period. This is so important because it prevents a marriage from being stuck in limbo forever. If the husband reconciles within that time, the verse reminds us that Allah is forgiving and merciful. But if divorce is the final decision, that path is also made clear, allowing everyone to move forward with dignity.
Okay, before we go any further, we have to unpack a really important concept, the iddah, or the waiting period. This is so much more than just a countdown. It's a divinely inspired institution full of wisdom. Think of it as this protected time, a space for clarity, to make sure there's no pregnancy and to protect the lineage, but it's also for emotional healing and, maybe most importantly, to give a couple one last real chance for reflection and possibly reconciliation.
Verse 228 gets into the details, saying that divorced women should wait for 3 menstrual cycles. But this verse also establishes this incredible principle of balance. It says that women have rights that are similar to the responsibilities they have, all based on what is fair and just. It also points out that men have a degree of responsibility over them, which creates this framework of mutual rights and managed leadership within the family.
These next verses lay out some really profound ethical guidelines. Look, divorce is permissible, even if it's disliked. A couple can get back together after the first and even the second divorce, but the third one, that's final. And the main theme running through all of this is crystal clear. Whether a husband keeps his wife or lets her go, it has to be done with kindness, with grace. Taking back any of the wedding gifts is forbidden, and everyone involved is reminded to be conscious of the limits that Allah has set.
And this deep compassion doesn't stop with the parents. It extends to the most vulnerable, the children. Verse 233 specifies that mothers can nurse their children for 2 whole years. That's a right they have. The number one principle here is the welfare of the child. Any decision about weaning has to be made with mutual consent, with consultation, making sure that neither the parent nor the child is harmed in the process.
Then there's a specific ruling just for widows. Their iddah, their waiting period, is set at 4 months and 10 days. This time serves as a period of mourning, but it also allows for her future to be settled in a dignified way. And again, the command is to treat her with fairness.
Okay, get ready for a big pivot here. The Quran masterfully shifts gears, moving from these detailed laws to telling powerful stories from history. Now, this isn't random at all. It's designed to teach us these much deeper lessons about faith, about our own human nature, by showing us the stories of those who came before us.
And wow, what stories they are. In this section, the Quran uses history like a huge canvas to paint these timeless lessons for us. We're about to hear these incredible parables from the children of Israel, stories about facing death, about what real leadership looks like, and about the tests that always come with great responsibility.
The story starts with a parable that will just take your breath away. It asks, have you thought about those who left their homes by the thousands because they were afraid of death? Allah's response was absolute. He said to them, die. And they died. And then He brought them back to life. I mean, the lesson is just overwhelming. Allah has the ultimate power over life and death. You can't run from His decree.
The scene then shifts. We're with the elders of the children of Israel, sometime after Moses. They go to their prophet and they demand, appoint a king for us. We will fight in the way of Allah. But their prophet, with his divine insight, he can sense that their resolve is weak. He asks them, are you really sure you'll fight if the order comes down? And they insist, oh yes, we will.
So their prophet announces Allah's choice. Taluth, or Saul, is their new king. But you won't believe their immediate reaction. They object. They say, how can he be king over us? We're more deserving. Plus, he doesn't have a lot of money. You see, they were looking at worldly status, but Allah had chosen him for something way more valuable, an abundance in knowledge and in physical stature.
All right, so they have their king, and a battle is on the horizon. But wait, before this army can face its enemy out there, it has to first face a test from within. This is a test of discipline, of obedience, and of true faith in their commander, and in Allah.
So as Talut marches out with his soldiers, he tells them, listen up, Allah is going to test you with a river. The command was so simple. Whoever drinks deeply from it is not on my side. Only the one who just takes a handful of water is, well, the results showed just how weak their ranks were. The verse says they drank from it except a few of them. A simple test of obedience, and most of them failed.
But that small group, the faithful few who passed the test, their mindset was something else entirely. When they saw the huge enemy army, they didn't fall into despair. Instead, they reminded each other of this profound truth. This quote just captures their conviction. Victory doesn't come from having more soldiers. It comes from Allah's will, and He is with those who are patient and steadfast.
And so there they stood, face to face with the giant Jalut, that's Goliath, and his massive, imposing army. In that moment, facing overwhelming odds, this small, tested group of believers turned to the only real source of strength. They prayed for patience, for their feet to be firm, and for victory. The stage was set for a miracle.
So, we've looked at detailed social laws, and we've followed this epic story from history. Now, let's connect the dots. What's the powerful, overarching message that ties these two seemingly different themes together?
You see, the common thread here is actually profound. There's no separation between different parts of your life in the eyes of God. Whether you're navigating the difficult emotions of a divorce with kindness and justice, or you're on a battlefield facing an enemy that seems impossible to beat, the underlying principle is the same: complete submission to Allah's guidance. True success in our homes and out in the world comes from sticking to the limits He has set and trusting completely in His wisdom.
And that leaves us with the final thought to really reflect on. The story of the river wasn't just about being thirsty. It was a test of obedience in a moment of desire. So we have to ask ourselves, what are the rivers in our own lives? Where are those moments of testing involving discipline, patience, and submission where our true commitment to our faith is really measured?